Good afternoon. My name is Adrian Newman Jr., and I'm from the Ohio AIDS Coalition. I serve as the programs coordinator. But today, I'm not here to talk to you with that hat, but simply as a human being. I come before you to speak briefly about the importance of LGBTQ non-discrimination. As someone who is African American, HIV positive, as well as gay, I know the struggles of being discriminated against all too well. Somehow, we have started to accept the dehumanization of anyone who represents something different than what we are, and that is not what this country was built upon. To deny a group of people their rights based on how they identify as it relates to their sexual orientation, their gender, or anything else is unacceptable. I have experienced the sting of discrimination personally. In my work brings me in contact with people who have been discriminated against because of their sexual orientation or HIV status. Each time I've been discriminated against, it has made me feel as though I should be ashamed, brings upon a sense of guilt, or as if I'm undeserving of what everybody else has the right to have. Undeserving of the rights that I should be afforded, not only as a United States citizen, but as a human being. And I'm for certain that this feeling consumes those within the LGBTQ community who feel discriminated against consistently. We, everyone, should be able to apply for a job, apply for an apartment, or simply live without a fear of being turned away because of our gender, sexual orientation, race, HIV status, etc. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." It is time that we set aside our own biases and focus on moving all humanity forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Here's my program. I'm sorry. We're going to hear now from Olga. Which one is it? Olga Starr. She can do it. Olga Starr from Skylight Financial. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Olga Starr, and I'm a business and financial planner at Skyline Financial Group. I was 21 years old when I came to this country as an immigrant and a refugee, and I came looking for the land of opportunity and freedom that they write in the books about. I worked real hard to make something out of myself, and I did find the opportunities I was looking for. Interestingly, I found a lot more than I was expecting. Being a lesbian, I found firsthand the fear of losing my job if people at work found out what I was hiding, the fact that I was gay. I experienced being questioned by a landlord about the nature of my relationship with my partner. I've had my boss not letting me out of the office when the love of my life was getting a blood transfusion in the hospital because that was not a family emergency. People shouldn't live in this kind of fear of discrimination. Companies like Skylight Financial, which is a great supporter of LGBT equality in Ohio, embrace inclusion and diversity, and they do understand that this is the only way to attract and retain the best talent and create great morale and achieve great performance in their teams. I'm very grateful that Skylight Financial accepted me for who I am, and I want to thank Representative Antonio for helping Ohio do the same.
Now I'd like to ask to join us Anita Gray from the Anti-Defamation.
Thank you. I want to thank you, Representative Antonio, for introducing this bill, the Ohio Fairness Act. We think it's a bill that's good for all of Ohio, for all of Ohio's families, and as you just heard from Olga, for the business community as well. The Anti-Defamation League is a 102-year-old civil rights organization. It was founded in 1913 to combat anti-Semitism, and to work for justice and fair treatment for all. And we take justice and fair treatment for all very seriously at the Anti-Defamation League. The introduction of the Ohio Fairness Act is an important step forward in our ongoing work to explicitly protect LGBT Ohioans from discrimination. The ADL knows that the need is great to protect people explicitly from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, as LGBT people are, as you might imagine, disproportionately the victims of discrimination in employment, in housing, and in public accommodations. The Ohio Fairness Act will provide LGBT people with explicit protection against these forms of discrimination. The ADL believes that all LGBT people should have the same opportunities as everyone else in our state to work hard, to earn a living, and provide for themselves and for their families at work, at home, and in the public arena. Additionally, the ADL believes firmly that employment decisions should be made based solely on merit, performance, and abilities, and never on the basis of an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is not only right, but it is good business. We've seen incredible gains recently in our progress toward equality. Make no mistake about it. We are far from having this work being over. Thank you very much.
And we're going to hear from Alex Shanks, who is from Equality, Ohio.
Good afternoon, and thank you. My name is Alex Shanks. There are many things in my life I'm proud to say that I am. I am a husband, I'm a justice seeker, I'm an activist, I'm a person of color, I'm a trans man, and I am a Christian. As I own all of these aspects of my identity and fullness, and especially as a justice-seeking Christian activist, I am often blessed to have conversations with people of faith from many traditions who are fully affirming of the LGBTQ community. I will confess that only a year ago, I was unaware of the breadth of faith traditions and multitudes of people who are faithful believers and who are also LGBTQ affirming. These people do not tolerate or make an exception for those of us who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or of another sexual or gender identity minority. These people of faith are loving, and there are hundreds of them in the state of Ohio. For the past year, I have made it my mission to lift up the voices of these hundreds of people of faith, whom I have come to know personally. And so today, I give them this podium, so they can speak on why statewide LGBTQ inclusive non-discrimination legislation is important to their faith. Here are their voices. Gender and aspects of gender, such as sexual orientation and atypical gender expression, cannot be justly considered a qualifier for any social position or function. Frank Parmier, spokesman for Muslims for Progressive Values here in Columbus. As a person of faith, I support statewide LGBTQ inclusive non-discrimination protections because it's what Jesus would do. God's way is the way that includes all people. Reverend Sherry Holdridge, pastor of the Village Church in Toledo. My life has been touched by too many exceptionally spiritual LGBTQ folks to doubt that God gifted these folks with their sexual and gender expressions. Sure, that has forced me to re-examine the traditional understanding of Scripture, but this would not be the first time that the church was enlightened to a deeper and better understanding. And even if I believe that my religion taught otherwise, I would not expect my religious views to be the law of the land based solely on an argument from religion. Granting and protecting LGBTQ rights does nothing to limit any of my rights, religious or otherwise. Reverend Ian Lynch, pastor of Old South United Church of Christ in Kirtland. And finally, my faith calls me to stand with and advocate for those society pushes to its margins and to seek and work for a beloved community that fully includes all, That means that when we identify a population that has experienced institutionalized injustice, and I believe this to be the case for LGBTQ people, I cannot rest until that injustice is addressed and remedied. Reverend Evan Young, Unitarian Universalist pastor in Southeastern Ohio. And as I conclude my comments, I recognize we have seen incredible gains in our progress towards equality, and people of faith have been an integral part of the success of this progress. A voice of deep affirmation may not be the first voice that the LGBTQ communities and our allies hear, but because of these and many others, it will certainly be one of them. And we are all hopeful that it will become the prominent and most common voice of people of faith in the near future. We are all endowed with the birthright to be granted equality, treated with dignity, and affirmed of our inherent divine worth. So thank you, Representative Antonio, for your leadership.